Uh, it's how about you're both just awful? Just awful. Regardless if you hate Hamas or not, there is no justification for Israel doing this. Gaza is now out of fuel. Whatever is left of their hospital system is about to collapse entirely. With over 1,000 dead, hundreds being children, the wounded now have no treatment and aid has been shut off from all directions. Without electricity, the few voices from the ground will also disappear. What little remains of the now cut off water supply will soon dry up. This is genocide. Every voice of conscience needs to raise awareness however they can and demand an end to this now. After all of the videos I've seen of what the IDF or the Israelis have been doing to Palestinians, and we're talking innocent Palestinians, children, the elderly, just non-combatants, innocent civilians. That's what we're talking about here. It always seemed to be that their ultimate goal was a genocide. That these people, and it's been going on for decades, these people, ultimately, these Palestinians, have no recourse. They have no place to go. I remember the last time this whole thing flared up, where politicians were actively talking about it, the question was constantly, but what do they do? Where do they go? How are they supposed to live? And this is genocide. And you can hate Hamas without hating innocent civilians. That's what my problem is. And that's what anybody should be thinking about. It's not about, Hamas, we know, is a terrorist organization. They are an ultimate extremist Islamic group, and they commit terrorist acts. That doesn't mean Palestinian children are terrorists. That doesn't mean they're innocent non-combatants, their children, their babies, their innocent civilians are terrorists. And it goes the same for Israeli civilians. Hamas, and it just said that they've confirmed. It's not a lie, it's not propaganda. I had the opportunity to watch the videos. I didn't watch them. I don't think I would be able to handle them. The whole thing about Hamas cracking through the Iron Dome and killing and beheading innocent civilians, burning up babies and beheading infants and all of that kind of thing, it's pretty much confirmed true. And everybody's always black and white about it. It's either one side or the other. All the shit going on Twitter. stupid ass cartoons. I saw this cartoon where it shows like some guy poking at a beehive, and the beehive was supposed to be Israel, and then people are like, no, it's the other way around. The beehive is Hamas, and no, it's actually Palestine as a whole. It's just, you're both just fucking awful. Both sides are fucking awful. The only thing we should be concerned with are these innocent civilians. People that are not fighting. People that are just living their lives. And they're being brutalized. I don't give a shit which side they're from. I don't care what God they worship. I don't care what little piece of land they live on. I don't care whose God has a bigger dick than the other one's God. I don't care. I don't care who started it. I don't care what happened before. I don't care about no you. Anybody that does this shit to non-combatants, anybody that does this shit to innocent civilians is just awful. You know, it's like talking to fucking children. I don't care who started it. I don't care who keeps it up more. I don't care what your reason is. I don't care what you're thinking about, what your reason for this and the other thing is. It doesn't matter. What matters is this. Hospitals have no electricity. No electricity, out of fuel, fucking hospitals. What the hell do hospitals and schools and music festivals and shopping centers, what do those places have to do with your politics or you trying to convince the other side and the world that you're the good guy? Everyone should hate Hamas because they are terrorist murderers. Everyone should hate the Israeli government, particularly Netanyahu, because he's a fraud and a terrorist murderer. The amount of people that don't get this is concerning. Oh my God. You know, I have my problems with Reddit. I bitch about Reddit. But every time I say something, I go into the comments. There's a top comment saying exactly what the fuck I just said. I gotta be doing something right here. Yeah. Thank decades of propaganda for that. Being able to label any criticism of an apartheid state as anti-Semitic is surely the most incredible piece of propaganda ever. All because a couple thousand-year-old work of fiction told them Jerusalem has to exist so Sky Daddy's son will come back, or he himself somehow. Exactly. Let's also make sure people understand that Hamas does not mean 2 million Palestinians residing in Gaza. I legit had someone call me anti-Semitic in class today for bringing attention to the Palestinians' plight. I'm Jewish! What's the plan? Bomb the entire Gaza Strip out of existence? The way we've treated these people over the decades might have some small part to do with why they're falling into the arms of terrorists. Desperate people will be open to absolute monsters if it means an end to their torment. That doesn't mean I'm saying Israel deserved what happened. I'm saying something like this was bound to happen at some point. Allowing thousands of desperate and sick people in hospitals to die is cruel. Starving children is cruel. If we bomb the place out of existence, it's just going to create martyrs that Hamas will use to draw even more people to its cause. We don't want that. Yeah, Israel did a fine job intentionally creating new Hamas members. Every time they bomb a building and a child has to pull their dead sibling out from under the rubble. You cannot flee because Israel blocks the exit out and has bombed the Rafah crossing to Egypt multiple times in the past week. Outside of that, if Egypt opens the border and lets in God's true whatever, it won't take long for war hawks like Netanyahu to accuse them of arming terrorists. Apparently, Egypt has just said they are not going to open anything to people who want to flee Gaza. Probably because of exactly this. And you could understand the underlying cause of Hamas getting involved. And whether most Palestinians don't know or they don't care, or they definitely wanted something like this to happen. At this point, like I said, I don't care. I don't care what your past problems were, what the current problems are. It's about land, it's about religion, it's about God's chosen people. You know, George Carlin once said, America prays for God to destroy its enemies, but the enemies are also praying to their God to destroy us. Somebody's going to be disappointed. Same bullshit here. The Jews absolutely hate the Palestinians. The hardcore Muslims and Hamas definitely absolutely hates the Jews. Both of them talk about whose God has a bigger dick. The big sky daddy is never coming. He's not coming. And like I said, it's a moot point. It doesn't matter anyway. Because anybody, I don't care what your religion is. I don't care what land you're fighting over. I don't care where you live. I don't care who your daddy was. I don't care what group you affiliate yourself with. Anybody who harms, tortures, and kills non-combatant innocent civilians is fucking awful. Anybody who cuts off power to a hospital is fucking awful. Anybody that beheads somebody's child and burns their infants is awful. I don't care. And it shouldn't matter to anybody at this point. Who started what? Who's got it? I'm so sick of hearing black and white. This is the good guy. No, that's the good guy. This is propaganda. No, I don't give a fuck. They're both fucking awful. The civilians are supposed to be your number one concern. Wow. This post I made is really fucking popular. Yeah. Flatten everything. Spare no school, no children's hospital, no old age home. Delete their entire gene pool off the face of the earth. This tweet has been deleted. How has this dude not been banned yet? And I take it from the stereotypical Orthodox Jewish thumbnail that what he's talking about is every school, children's hospital, and old age home belonging to Palestinians. This is the shit I'm talking about. Delete their entire gene pool. So now we've got Israelis talking about genocide. That doesn't strike you as a little strange? Tell me why I thought this was the quartering. Definitely something he'd say, and that's oddly similar. Moderation team reading tweets advocating for genocide. Elon is a poopy head. There are so many people acting like this. I'm so sick of social media. And this is also a reason this shit is still going to go on. Another thing that's really, really funny is that all of these conservatives are rooting for Israel, but they hate Jews here at home. That's something else that's driven by religion. It's caused by religious freakishness. You see, die-hard Christians believe, according to their Bible, that Jews have to be in the Holy Land. Israel and its surrounding area has to be populated by Jews because it's only, during these conditions when Jews populate the Holy Land and there is war going on and all that other horse shit we're hearing about and we have been hearing about for decades. That's the only condition in which their buddy Jesus is going to touch down and bring about Armageddon. And Armageddon means the world gets destroyed, and then there's these other religious freaks that actually believe the rapture is a thing, and that, of course, they're going to be one of the chosen, naturally. Naturally, they're going to be one of the chosen. That, the Bible says it's only something like around 1,300 people, I think it was. But they're all going to be one of these chosen people anyway, that are just going to rise up into the clouds and leave all the rest of us heathens to face Armageddon and hell on earth for 7 years. And these people look at these videos of beheaded infants and burnt babies and total destruction all around them. And they're really, really fucking giddy. They're practically jerking off like a jackhammer because they think this might signal the coming of Jesus and Armageddon, where they, of course, will leave to live in paradise for all eternity, and all the rest of us will face hell on earth, and we should all be very scared and worried about that. All of these heathen people watching their family and friends and neighbors get beheaded and blown the fuck up, and Their hospitals run out of power, and death and destruction and torture all around them. Same shit from a different direction. That's the reason, part of the reason, that your politicians are, in effect, supporting Israel wholeheartedly. It's their own religious bullshit. They'll shit all over Jewish people at home, but they wholeheartedly support Israel because of their own religious beliefs. Isn't it funny how it works like that? These pesky fucking religious freaks, I tell ya. It's enough to make your head spin. Nobody commits war crimes but me, and maybe the boy. Again, so much I want to reference Carlin for. I wish I could post clips from his HBO special. I keep reading this as Yakov Smirnoff. Yeah, me too. Me too. What was the guy's name? Yakovov. Yakovov. I keep reading his name as Yakov Smirnoff. Yeah, that's the first thing that came to my head. Oh, he just means exterminate a whole ethnicity. Nothing to worry about here. Has nobody ever told him the saying, an eye for an eye makes the whole world blind? Apparently it does. We're seeing it in real time. Why is there Elon Musk here? They have a cool blue check mark. Oh, that's why he's there. I didn't look. He's a blue check chuckle fuck. Because Elon agrees with them. Because everyone agrees with it. Get back into prison, Count of Monte Cristo. Fuck this shit, damn it. What a species we are. Nothing says I'm one of the good guys like let's do a genocide, and yes, I mean the kids too. Paid for Twitter, in it. Also worth calling out the anti-Semitic, openly pro-Hitler Nazi responses he's been getting. Hamas doesn't want free Palestinians, just to put them under new management. And if that were the case, again, Palestinian people have plenty to be pissed off at Israel about. Again, at this point, I, for one, don't give a shit. Anybody, no matter what their problem is, targeting innocent non-combatants, especially the most innocent among us, the only innocent you could find nowadays, fucking babies, the old and feeble, women and children. Hi, tech support. Haha, I get that. Cute. They're both just awful. Awful. The fuck? I don't think him giving up coffee is going to help the kids. Just the Nescafe. They wrote the false narrative, God's chosen people, according to the book they wrote. AOC has something very interesting to say again. I believe deeply that the majority of people of all kinds do not want to see Gaza leveled and innocents killed, and that they feel and hold the pain of Israeli families destroyed. We must build on our solidarity and common humanity to stop an atrocity in the making. End the cycle. Then call on Egypt to open the border with Gaza, which Israel cannot control, and let all of the people out of Gaza before it gets leveled. Yeah. I believe they've actually done that before. I made some tweet to this guy who took a photo of a nice hot cup of coffee sitting on his table. While he was kicking back, he's one of these dumbass pastors that does nothing but mention all this whimsical crap about God and bitches at people who are openly atheist and all this other crap. So he posts a picture this morning of the nice hot cup of coffee sitting on his table and says, I was actually thinking about it. Let me see if I can find it, because it's kind of pissing people off. I don't give a fuck, but I tried to make a little joke out of it. Here we go. Here's the photo. Over this morning's coffee, I don't think it's right to cut off water, power, and aid to over 1 million children. Pray. And what did I say? No. Stop. Blah, blah, blah. Sips his Nescafe as he takes a split second to think about all the hardships others actually go through. Nestle, for the quiet moments in your pampered life. There you go. Apparently other people understood how not in good taste that was. Here's one. Unfollowed. Cute. I'm surprised I was able to find an actual Nescafe GIF on here. You'd respond to the barbaric atrocities of Hamas how? With flowers and love? Again, that's the thing. All of us should be beyond who started what, who had a stake in what, whose God has the bigger dick than the other people's God, who's the chosen person. No, we're the chosen people. We speak for God. No, we speak for God. You're heathens. No, you're infidels. You did this to our people, so we're doing this to your people. Well, you do this to our people, then we're going to fuck up your people. Just stop. You are both awful. And that's what people are still arguing about, and that's the shit people need to get over. Again, this point, burnt up, dead, beheaded babies? No. it's like when you have two immature, dumbass kids, they'll just keep going and going. Not one of them will stop for a second and say, this is fucking stupid. Not one of them will stop for a second and pay attention to all the shit that's breaking in the room around them that doesn't belong to them. They'll just keep fighting and fighting. They'll keep going and they'll keep going and they'll keep fucking up everybody's lives over all this stupid shit. And I'm sick of hearing people say, well, it's their fault. No, it's their fault. They did this first. No, you. No, you. It's done. Yeah, that's another thing. It's absolute annihilation. Wipe away the gene pool. Well, that's one thing the Palestinians obviously have going for them. Extremist, terrorist, Islamic groups are really terrorist and extremist Islamic groups. You try to fuck with them, they'll see it as an opening to behead another couple dozen of your infants, and they won't care. This is how it's going to go. And then Israel has the full support and backing of the United States military. They have the power, they have the money, they have the majority of the land there, and they're going to respond with full militaristic force. It ain't going to stop. It ain't going to stop. Yeah, I don't care either way, and that's what nobody seems to be doing. Nobody seems to be stopping, taking a step back, and saying, you're fucking up other people's lives. You are killing children. You are calling for genocide. Good guys don't do this shit. You can't call yourself the good guys and do this shit and say this shit. You are both fucking awful. That's where it's all gotta end. Yeah. I'm sorry to hear that. I've been seeing it all over the place. I don't even want to talk to my friends. Exactly. They already haven't had a problem doing it. If you go to Reddit, because that's where I've seen the majority of these videos, there's a lot of people that dedicate their accounts to posting such things. I've seen videos of how innocent Palestinian civilians have been treated by the IDF that will make you shit rocket yourself through the fucking roof. It's like watching videos of shitty cops over here at home. It's just shit that gets your blood boiling. Well, yeah, and that's the thing I was talking about. Got the full support of the United States government. They have our United States military backing them up. They got the money. They got the technology. They keep the Palestinian people living in filth and poverty. And now they're cutting off power to their hospitals. I'm not saying I don't understand exactly, or actually I couldn't understand. I could appreciate what Palestinian people feel, how desperate they've got to feel, how horrible it's got to be. But then, you get Hamas involved, who are pretty fucked up to begin with, and they're doing the same shit. They're doing the same shit. But that's another thing. I'm going to be fair here. We don't know. I'm sure there are plenty of Palestinians that get recruited by Hamas. Maybe they don't know. Maybe they know Hamas is planning something, but they just decided to ignore it and let them go ahead with it because of all the shit they've been going through. Nobody can know. And like I said, it doesn't matter. I don't care either way. Anybody that targets non-combatants, even fucking Putin made a statement. A lot of people are saying even a broken clock is right twice a day, right? Well, Putin is today's broken clock because he made a statement saying, you know what? If you feel so strongly that you want to make a man out of yourself and pick up a gun and go fight against other evil men or terrorists or military personnel or the people that are causing harm, go ahead and do it. You don't fucking touch old women. You don't fucking touch babies. It doesn't matter what side you're on. I don't listen to Tate the Tot. I wouldn't know. I haven't been listening to anything that Mr. Hanky has to say, but I'm sure he did. My thing is, I don't care at this point. Yeah, it's probably the same thing as like getting Elon posts on your page as you're scrolling along. I had a problem with this shit the minute Elon overpaid for Twitter. I started getting notifications on my desktop, even when I didn't have Twitter up or the tab open or anything. And that's when I knew things were on a downward spiral. Because I don't want to see shit from any of these people, and it's forcing me to see it. Sometimes it can be funny. See, there you go again. But you can't see that. Sometimes it's funny. I'm not completely adverse to seeing tweets from people I don't care about, but ooh, thank you for the follow. But yeah. Oftentimes it's more annoying than anything else. The Israeli president, I agree, there are many, many innocent Palestinians, but unfortunately, in their homes, there are missiles shooting at us, at my children, at the entire nation of Israel. This is a tragedy of terror, and there is no mercy to terror. There is supposed to be mercy for the innocent. That's why you call attacks terror. That's why you call it terrorism. Terrorism is when you try to terrorize people. A war is a war between combatants, but terrorism is purposely trying to strike fear into the hearts of everyone, including innocent non-combatants. You don't shut off power to hospitals to prove you're the good guy. I'm one of those people who wishes like half a dozen people dead like every day on my ride to work. Well, there are people saying they are the good guys, so anything they do is okay. And then there are people saying whether Hamas is involved or not, the Palestinians are really the good guys, so anything they do is okay. It's not. You don't cut off power to hospitals, and you don't behead and set babies on fire because you're the good guy. That is my whole point. I am shocked and appalled that people don't get this. They keep making excuses for one side or another. But this side did this side did that. Yeah, that's okay for trying to understand the underlying causes for why terrorist groups like Hamas come to be. That is good for understanding the underlying causes to why certain groups become genocidal lunatics and have such vile hatred towards others like they do. It still doesn't excuse targeting innocent non-combatants. It still does not excuse terrorism in any form, in any way. It still does not excuse cutting power and gas to hospitals and burning infants and rape and pillage and murder and beheading or anything. I don't even want to hear, well, the way Jews kill people is better than the way Muslims kill people. They're both fucking awful. They are both awful. Atrocities have already occurred. Seeing you more concerned about potential retaliation than you are about what's been done is very telling. The appropriate response to atrocity is not further atrocity, no matter how good you might feel about it in the moment. Exactly. And there are people talking about this like it just sprung out of nowhere. They have no idea this is an ongoing thing, an ongoing conflict that has been rolling along for decades between these two groups. And again, I don't care. I don't care how long it's gone on. I don't care what it's about. I don't care about your land. I don't care about your God. I don't care about your religion. I don't care about your money. I don't care about any of this shit. What we should be caring about is that innocent people are being pulled into a conflict that should not be there. Another Carlin quote: anytime a bunch of religious people want to kill each other, I'm a happy guy. I posted that on Twitter a few hours ago. So you want to know something? Let's remove all the women and the children and the old people and the disabled, and let's just leave all of these big, tough men that want to fight and shoot and argue and throw stones at each other about whose God has the bigger dick and whose land is supposed to belong to who, and just let these assholes duke it out. Because I'm sick of seeing this bullshit. with dead and dying children and injured people in hospitals where they're cutting off fucking power. They're both just a bunch of awful pieces of shit. If you're one of the ready, willing, and able, truly ready, willing, and able to put your life on the line for all of this bullshit you feel, that's supposed to be the whole point. That should be what we force them to do. You put your life on the line. And don't you dare put other people's lives on the line. I wish there were a God. I wish I were fucking God. So I can blast both of these asshole groups back to the fucking Stone Age. I'll remove all the innocent people from that region. And then leave all of you big tough guys to duke it out. Until we see who's left. Then whoever's left, that's who gets the entire country. How about that? Whether it's Jews, whether it's Palestinians, whether it's the entirety of Hamas and every extremist, neck-bearded, fucking Islamic terrorist in the world. I don't care. You take the innocence out of it. You take our religious freaks' beliefs out of it. Let these big tough guys duke it out. And that's what we'll do. Whoever's left, you get the whole fucking country. The minute you touch an infant, the minute you touch somebody at a festival, the minute you touch an old folks' home, the minute you touch an ICU unit, you forfeit. The other group wins. And then they get the whole country. How's that? Marjorie Toe Jam Green tells AOC, now do Russia and Ukraine. She doesn't need you. Or she doesn't need to. Unlike you, she ain't a Putin puppet and supports Russia getting the fuck out of Ukraine. See, it's another thing. That's all these fucking Republican conservatives have been doing all damn day, is using this shit for their own political agenda. I cannot tell you how many posts I've seen of right-wing pundits and members of the GOP putting all of this on Biden. What the hell do you expect from these lunatics? Aww. Harvard students are freaking out after a truck drives around the school displaying the names of students who allegedly signed a letter blaming Israel for Hamas's terror attacks. Say it with me, Hamas Harvard. Oh, here we go again with Charlie Turd, Toilet Paper USA. Israel is not Ukraine. Biden, Biden, Biden. Ukraine, Ukraine, Biden. Aw. Humans, you've had your run and failed miserably. It's time for the raccoons to rule. That's something God could do. Holy crap. What if that's the reason God unleashed all of the frogs and the locusts? What if that's the reason for the plague? It had nothing to do with God being pissed off at Egyptians. After all, he had 400 years to do something about that. What if that's what it's really about? What if that was God's way of saying, both of you are fucking awful? Get the hell out, because now frogs and locusts can do a better job on this land than you folk. Send in the raccoons. Thank you for that, rock father. Israeli Prime Minister Netanyahu. Every Hamas operative will die. Hamas is ISIS. We will crush them and get rid of them, just as the world crushed and got rid of ISIS. Well, if Hamas came from ISIS, then I guess you didn't really crush ISIS, did you? Does he not even realize that's how all of these terrorist groups come about? They start as one group, they recruit more, they become another group. You claim to crush one group, they just come back as another group? Because that's what it is. A lot of Islamic terrorist groups, extremist terrorist groups, they are nothing if not persistent. Oh my God. Lying about this specifically, as heightened as emotions and rage are right now, should end this person's political career. Just say it, Ted Cruz. It took days for Joe Biden to say the U.S. stands with Israel. I'm glad he finally said it, but it's important for Americans to understand why it took him that long. On Verdict, Ben Ferguson and I discuss how Democrats are beholden to Israel-hating leftist activists. Days, he did it within hours. Let there be no mistake, the U.S. stands with the state of Israel. I guess he was talking specifically to you when he said, let there be no mistake. Ha! Oh God, that's cute. They're all a bunch of fucking mistakes. What? Which murderous dictator or terrorist organization will Trump praise today? I don't know why Joe Biden is doing press conferences in the Rose Garden talking about something other than America's role as leader of the free world. If I was president of the United States, fucking idiot, I'd have the team in the Situation Room and direct the Joint Special Operations Command to stand up special forces and have them immediately be prepared to deploy into Gaza. Gee, how would you have responded to Tuberville holding the military promotions hostage over his own personal beliefs? What's best for him isn't best for America. He wasn't a good enough coach to be playing games with people's lives. Trump tried to have you killed and you continue to suck him off to this day. You wouldn't do shit. Some presidents can multitask, Mike, and don't have to ask mommy's permission to take a crap. Exactly why you'll never be president. Is he implying Biden should stand up a clandestine military operation of spec ops, hostage rescuers, but also tweet about it? Your former boss would be buying up real estate in downtown Gaza for the Trump Hamas tower in 5 minutes. I don't know why you think you're relevant or why you continue to play presidential candidate. You don't have a snowball's chance in hell. Stop wasting our money. He literally already talked about America's role in the free world this morning and is talking about it again right now. I'm so glad our military is led by Joe Biden and not any Republicans. GOP can't even elect a Speaker of the House or keep their own conference in check or stop committing crimes or stop jerking off dudes in theaters, fraternizing with underage girls, or whatever it is George Santos is pretending to be this week, or. Ah, God, where is my ride? So, you'd send American soldiers to battle in another country's war. Meanwhile, in the Situation Room these last few days, a reassuring picture. Well, thank goodness that you being president is something we're never going to have to worry about. Suck it up, Buttercup. Here's a compilation of Trump from last night calling Hezbollah very smart, praising Chinese President Xi, attacking Israeli Prime Minister Netanyahu, attacking Israel, and calling the Israeli Defense Minister a jerk.
Of course, they're fighting potentially Iran, and when they have people saying the wrong things, everything they say is being digested by these people because they're vicious and they're smart. And boy, are they vicious, because nobody's ever seen the kind of sight that we've seen. But they cannot play games, so we were disappointed by that, very disappointed, but we did the job ourselves, and it was absolute precision, magnificent, beautiful job. And then Bibi tried to take credit for it. That wasn't good. That didn't make me feel too good, but that's all right. So they got to strengthen themselves up. And they said, gee, I hope Hezbollah doesn't attack from the north, because that's the most vulnerable spot. I said, wait a minute. You know, Hezbollah is very smart. They're all very smart. The press doesn't like when they say it. You know, I said that President Xi of China, 1.4 billion people, he controls it with an iron fist. I said, he's a very smart man. They killed me the next day. I said he was smart. What am I going to say? But Hezbollah, they're very smart. And they have a national defense minister or somebody saying, I hope Hezbollah doesn't attack us from the north. So the following morning they attacked. They might not have been doing it, but if you listen to this jerk, you would attack from the north, because he said that's our weak spot. But Hezbollah, they're very smart.
My God. And I didn't even get hummus in there. Leave me alone. Do do note that Hamas didn't go after the Orthodox Jews, who are the prime force behind kicking Palestinian people from their houses, because that would have made sense. You know, maybe that's because Hamas just indiscriminately attacked anybody in the area that they could get a hold of. You know, like infants. God, leave me alone. Why does Mike Pence always look like he's trying to spot a lighthouse in a deep fog? Because perceiving the world through an intellect like his is indeed almost exactly like peering through a deep fog. I just do it because I need an eye exam. If the only thing keeping you from harming another human is your belief in a deity, just know that normal folks will never trust you. And if your only reason for doing grave harm to others is a belief in a deity. Whoops. They should know any God that is a God would never forgive them. Yeah. All right. And I think on that note, I'm going to take off for now. I would like to come back later, but I'm waiting for a ride. I'm supposed to be doing shit this afternoon. So, thanks for the follow. And hopefully I will be back on later, since all this shit is still fresh. I pretty much said my part, though. Fuck both these sides. And fuck anybody who goes after any innocent civilians or non-combatants. You do that, you're automatically disqualified from being the good guy in my book. And it should be that way in everybody's book. So, I'll see y'all.